session of Energy Efficiency Day. Good afternoon. On behalf of the European Alliance to Save Energy, I'm delighted to welcome the speakers, the participants in this room, and those, of course, that are online for this session on which is very interesting on skills. So winning the skills race, developing the future energy efficiency workforce. My name is Luigi Petito. I'm the head of secretariat at the European Alliance to Save Energy, and the work on skills has been probably one of the most interesting initiatives on which I've been working on in the past few months, and launched by the European Alliance to Save Energy. We have contributed, we are contributing, and we will contribute to shape the regulatory and the policy framework for energy efficiency. But now, and I'm thinking about the Energy Efficiency Directive, there is an important dialogue going on this evening, so the Energy Performance of Building Directive, and many other pieces of regulations and policies. But now we're also turning our attention to implementation. And when I think about implementation, we have to think about skills. And today, skills was a recurring word in all the sessions. So we had this, many of the topics that have been already touched and discussed this morning and before this afternoon. It's a big challenge because we have a we are not afraid of the challenge. I think we can make it. We can win the skill race. And we, as a European Alliance to Save Energy, together with the energy community, energy efficiency community at large, are committed to design and launch the first pact of skills for energy efficiency. While we are talking, colleagues at DG Employment, DG Grow, DG Ener are actually assessing our proposal for a pact. So, and while this is ongoing, the good thing is that our commitment, our effort has already started. So we have major initiatives in the pipeline. We are thinking of launching the first ever, to my knowledge, a pan-European academy of skills for energy efficiency, while waiting the support of Erasmus Plus, of an Erasmus Plus proposal that we have entered a few months ago. And we are also designing a very relevant to my understanding of the situation, skills intelligence initiative, which means mapping the skills for energy efficiency that we have now, and anticipating the skills that we will need tomorrow to reach the targets that legislations have set for 2030, 2040, and 2050. I will come back to these initiatives and to what we are thinking and what we are doing later. But already now, I think I don't want to miss the opportunity to call everyone, business, social partners, social parties, regional and local actors, to follow this work. And I want to call to express interest in joining us to indeed address this problem or this challenge and win this race. Today's panel is super. I'm very happy. I feel very privileged to be moderating this session. We have Herbert Olthuis, the director at DG Employment. Herbert is a protagonist of this agenda, being at the center of the European skills agenda. Thank you very much for being with us. Unfortunately, a colleague couldn't make it last minute, but Herbert is replacing. Thank you very much for stepping in last minute. We have Raffaele Trapasso. Raffaele is representing the OECD, and in particular, he leads the Center for Entrepreneurship, SMEs, Regions, and Cities. Now, I think, Raffaele, when someone thinks about skills, cannot think of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial mindset, regions, cities, and so on. So I really look forward to your contribution. We have Mike Stenson. Mike represents business. Is Executive Project Director for Building Materials at the Technology Campus Ukraine for Kingspan Group. Mike, yes, represented the business community and the commitment of a very innovative and sustainable company that has been also supporting for many years the European Alliance to Save Energy. And last but not least, we have Professor Jakub Solfa. Jakub is the president of the Automotive Skills Alliance, very much engaged, also involved with the European Battery Academy and those activities. And Jakub is an absolute point of reference expert in this area. Why? Because the Automotive Skills Alliance and the European Battery Academy are examples from which we have to look at and from which we have to be inspired. So we are working already very closely, and Jakub, I'm very grateful to see you here today. So before going into the discussion, I just wanted to, if anyone is thinking about diversity in this panel, unfortunately, it is the overall European Energy Efficiency Day was perfectly gender balanced. So we had 10 women and 10 men. Unfortunately, we had some. This specific panel was unbalanced. That we had, unfortunately, Mrs. Gelling couldn't make it. But overall, I want to assure you that the overall initiative was perfectly balanced. So in terms of timing, each of you has around 10 minutes. So let's try to stick to the time, and so maybe we can have some debate, some discussion with colleagues. That's it for my introduction. I'd like to start with you, Egbert, if I can.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think you could give us a bit of an overview on the situation. So could you please provide a bit of an overview of the EU skills agenda? Which instrument, what the European Commission is doing, what is in place to address these issues of this skills gap, and in particular, if there is anything that can be related to the green skills, so this specific agenda of energy efficiency. Yeah, I would like to start with this. I told you before, I think this community here is very knowledgeable about energy efficiency. I think it is important for us that you help us to frame all this discussion from a DG employment perspective.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Luigi, and many thanks for inviting me here and being part of such an excellent panel and talking about skills. I think the skills represented by the audience are more scarce than the skills I have working in a government. Because I mean, if you look at Save Energy, and I'm so happy that you took the initiative as the European Alliance to be here to invite all the different stakeholders, also colleagues from the Commission, because also from our side we are different DGs, industry, skills, energy, etc. So also for us, listening to you gives us the inspiration to be clear on what our agenda is, and in particular also the skills agenda, because it's not easy. I mean, as the panel members and you all know, I mean, the European Union's bearing on determining a skills agenda in a country is of course limited, Luigi. I mean, I'm dealing a lot with Germany, and there already in Germany they say the Länder, 16 Länder, are protagonists of how to ensure the skills and the qualifications. Federal level has limited competences, so let alone at the European level. That's why we have three issues. Of course, the money. I mean, if you have money, you can help people to go in a certain direction. One. Secondly, targets, ambitions. Together with the Parliament and heads of state, the Council, what we try to have is a very ambitious European agenda. And the industry stakeholders, yesterday was this meeting with from 4 regions concerned with the transition in the automotive world. This is a key sector for Europe. I mean, this is the key sector. If we lose it, then we will not get it back. And so for us, from the European side, we listen and we work together with member states, but also push them to put the money where their ambitions are. So On ambitions, if we say that 70% of companies have difficulties finding staff, including in your sectors, what can we do about it? A, try to keep the people as long as possible in work. I know in the automotive sector, lots of people will go in retirement at some point, the baby boomers. But there are still many people that would have been interested in joining that sector, but they don't have the skills. So be ambitious in your target. We want to have a 60% target of adults participating in training and upskilling by 2030, because we know that people are intelligent and smart, but if they need to change a job, they need to be helped to do that. One. Secondly, together with the Council and Parliament and Member States, of course, we also try to look at which kind of skills. So with OECD, and I will talk a little bit about cooperation with the OECD in a little bit, which skills are missing and the typologies thereof, which we have to do. We have 400 people living in Europe, 220 million people in work. There's lots of cross-border movements in the automotive industry, in any sector in Europe. There's lots of mobility. We also attract many people from non-EU countries. So in order to be sure that the people you attract have the right skills, you have to have some kind of a classification, and we work on that, of course. Then, thirdly, on the policy side, so I was calling funding, I was calling the ambition, European agenda. On the policy side, over the last 20, 30 years, perhaps also because of the European Commission ambitions to have as many tertiary students as possible, we have had an academization. I don't even know if this is an English term, an academization of so everybody wants to send his children to university, no, and high schools. Well, what we see, what is missing now is vocational educational training. So that, not only to say it, but also to help member states push for more vocational educational training. And as I said, I'm dealing a lot with Germany. I'm very happy with that. Germany was the country where we had excellent dual learning. What we see now, it's not any popular anymore. I mean, people don't see this. I was talking to a gentleman who's working in a big industry firm. They said lots of people, lots of youngsters would like to have a house and a car and the possibility to create a family at a certain age, but they were not able to do it. If they join me and do vocational educational training, become an engineer, they can realize all of these promises. You know what I mean, Luigi? So that's, and how we do that, the Pact for Skills, you were already mentioning that. So what we try to do together with stakeholders to create partnerships. Because if we would do the thinking and you would not listen to us, that doesn't make any sense. If you would follow your agenda, which is basically driven on a survival in a heavy competitive and world environment, in a situation where you have to cut down on energy because the prices are too high, in a situation where maybe you will face increasingly imports from China, the State of the Union speech of our president. So this Pact for Skills should be, and the German industry and others always call for that, it should make us become competitive. Don't be afraid of anybody. Stay ahead of the cycle, Huh? And so this ambition, we have 10 million people to be upskilled and reskilled in all of these ecosystems. And some of the people here are well aware of the ecosystems, including the Battery Alliance, which we conclude. That's one. Then I will stop. Why are people learning and why are people not learning? I mean, if Jakub would ask his staff, you have to go through training, and if they are smart, they will do what he asks. But do they really think that they need this? I think what we try to do at the European level, together with member states and Parliament, have this concept of individual learning accounts. We are sure that everybody, young people, older people, have certain ideas on where their weaknesses are, and if in the context of the moving enterprise environment or whatever service sector, people know where they need to be trained. And our idea is, if you would not need to ask Jakub, can I do this or that, but follow your instinct, get a culture of training that this would help. These are the so-called individual learning accounts. And then national skills strategies are so important. We have this European semester, and a lot of people would say, oh, what's this? But where together with member states, we analyze where the skills bottlenecks are, where the competitiveness issues are, where the demographic issues are, And there, together with the OECD, as I said, we would like to help with development of national skills strategies. I don't know whether you will be able to say a few things on that, but so be hands-on, provide the money for good investments, because the EU budget is also very constrained. Set targets, be ambitious, help member states to put into a framework these targets together with social partners and industry, and that's for the moment what I like to say. Thank you very much.
No, thanks. Thanks a lot. Very, very, very useful. Maybe before moving on, and only because you have asked, I take the liberty just to give you a few numbers on the energy efficiency ecosystem, because I think if you do had the session just before, unfortunately you are right, you missed it, but it was an interesting one where we were trying, because there's still a lot of work to understand the potential of this energy efficiency as an industrial ecosystem. I'll give you a couple of figures related simply to the European Alliance to Save Energy. So we have like 10 companies, members of the Alliance, plus some think tank, environmental think tank and NGOs. But these 10 companies have a accumulated annual turnover of 115 billion euros per every year. They employ 240,000 people, and they have operations across 27 member states. And the interesting thing, they manufacture and they develop technology system solutions for buildings, so I don't know, from the envelope to technical building systems, lighting, you name it, and then for industrial technologies for industrial, to make an industrial process more efficient, improve the water efficiency of plants and so on. So and this is 10 companies. So you can imagine not 100,000 or more, 1 million companies that represent this huge ecosystem. So there's a huge potential, economic potential for this for Europe, and this is why all this discourse, all this work on skills is very, very relevant. And I'm very glad that you are here with us to listen these inputs. So so moving from Europe skills agenda, European skill agenda, I would like to go to Raffaele, OECD, international dimension. You have some very interesting projects going on, particular this eCall initiative on which I know you've been working since a few months. And I would like to understand how these efforts at OECD level can be used, leveraged to engage business and collaborate with region, with the local stakeholders to foster the development of skills essential for the deployment of energy efficiency. I think if you can help us to share your views on this.
Thank you. Very easy question. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. I have a strange echo in my voice. No more? Okay. Thank you. Raffaele Trapasso, as Luigi said, I work at the OECD, the Organization for Cooperation and Economic Development. Is based in Paris, 38 member countries. We are now a global organization with Indonesia that is knocking on our doors, joining the organization. Of course, the cooperation with the European Commission is fundamental for us. It's a partner that helps us staying on the frontier of thinking about policy solutions for better policies for better life is the motto of the organization. Now, I remember I worked myself in the skills center at the OECD, so there was this motto that without skills, people languish at the margin of society, and I think that this is not more acceptable in a sense also for demographic trends. We cannot waste an ounce of talent anymore. And so the OECD is mobilized in different services to find solutions for skills. But before entering in the discussion, I want to make a bit of a theoretical framework or discuss about skills and learners. So the first point that is interesting for us, and I think it's important for this discussion, is that there is no more a linear relationship between skills and jobs. So it's very difficult that you learn something and you land in the labor market for a long period of time, using the skills that you have acquired. Okay, so non-linearity first. The second, we are discussing, and this is to be understood in a sense, we are discussing skills of individuals, but also skills of organizations and places. This is a bit difficult as a transition from a policy perspective, because the entire realm of our policies is done to focus on individuals. So how do you deal with the skills of organizations and skills of networks, places? The third point is the relevance, and this is, I work at the Center for SMEs, Entrepreneurship, Cities and Regions. And theoretically, we are now accepted that SMEs are an okay part of the economy, are not a problem. No, there is a multiple equilibrium situation in which you can have SMEs and still be an efficient economy. And so it means that SMEs are important partners in your policy ideas. So the distortions that go towards the support to large firms, including for the efficiency or for the energy efficiency, are for us, in fact, distortions. So, and a call as there is entrepreneurship, education, collaboration, and engagement has evolved in this framework with the idea of leveraging on education and training institutions, academia, but also universities, but also University of Applied Sciences, as Herbert was referring to, and to leverage skills and promote this idea of entrepreneurship. Now, let me clarify immediately that when we discuss entrepreneurship, of course, we like very much the idea of unicorns, gazelles, all this, but it is not that we want people to have or to generate a business. We are more interested in the mindset that you can achieve through entrepreneurial education. That is this idea of problem solving, creativity, transversal skills, etc. So this is the first point, in fact, that when you talk about green skills, in reality, you're not talking about a single linear skill. No, you're talking about digital skills, you're talking about organizational skills, you're talking about technical skills, we can add others. And there is a part which someone calls soft, someone, I don't like very much soft, but transversal is already better. Of course, we call it entrepreneurial, but is all these skills that increase the capacity of people to operate in environment in which there is uncertainty, or in which they have to take a decision without full information. Or in any case, creativity and capacity to learn new information that in a fast pace technology area like energy is important also for the resilience of skills. The second point that I want to, and so ECOL is very focused on trying to transform the idea of entrepreneurial skills and transversal skills into a policy area, into something that, you know, new generations of learners can take advantage of innovative training and education approaches, and then can develop this wide transdisciplinary capacity that makes them better in society and labor markets. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do. It's very difficult. It's very difficult because it seems sexy, but then when you try to find partners, it's difficult to support this new approach to learning and teaching. Then there is the point, as you said, about, of course, systems. Because once you accept that it's not only about individuals, but it's about networks, it's about organizations, it's about places, then you have to work with networks, with the connection between people. I make you an example. No, there is a lot of discussion about SMEs in particular that need to acquire skills to be better, more productive, more efficient, but is impossible for SMEs to internalize all these skills because otherwise they would be larger SMEs. So there is an interaction with their ecosystem and they depend on ecosystem. When I say ecosystem, I understand the definition of the European Commission, but I like the part of the biotope. So there is a place in the ecosystem. There is a geographical component of ecosystems that we like to consider because innovation networks, people are connected to their milieu. So there is this point, and ECOL again is trying. We have the geography of higher education. We are trying to discuss how to promoting skills and entrepreneurial skills with this idea of co-specialization, operating with the opportunities that a given place offer, the innovation capacity. This discussion started when we understood that a lot of universities, including a lot of entrepreneurial universities, were looking at Harvard instead of looking at innovation opportunities in their community. And so there was a disconnect between their research activities and the potential there was in their ecosystem. And the third point, which is a policy discussion, is about complementarities. Because when you recognize there is no linearity, it depends on places, it depends on ecosystem, then it's not only one policy that can help you with better green skills, in this case. You need different policies, and you need these policies to be complementary. Again, the complementarity of policies is particularly felt at subnational level, because in many cases are regional lenders, regional actors that are to connect the different policies. And in many regions, there is still a problem that when you discuss employment policies, they are often disconnected for investment policies. So when you do training activities, you do not have data about the sector that is hiring in your place. So there is this disconnect that is felt, especially at the subnational level, and that might require to reorganize the policy domain into challenges rather than sectors. So if we want really to deal with skills, the OECD national skills agenda was a bit in this, went in this direction, tried to connect the different policy areas, but the subnational level, for instance, was always a challenge in that case. So how to partner with new stakeholders, so a policy that, of course, is the public sector remains accountable for the policy, but the responsibility of the policy, including the outcome, can be shared with other stakeholders, including the private sector, including education and training institutions, and so on and so forth. So I give you a very brief example of what we are doing in this moment, exactly, for instance, with Portugal. And again, thanks to the support of the European Commission, in this case, the DG reform, we are trying to do a technical instrument for a country that is Portugal to help them also developing green skills. So again, there is this possibility for us to engage with the experimentation to understand how a relatively new area of discussion and policy dialogue can be transformed into a policy action area. So with solutions, with roadmaps, with reforms that make sense from the political economy reform point of view. And this is always a very important point. I stop here. I think I managed to be in time.
You did.
Thank you.
No worries. No worries. No, I think, Sand, this you mentioned cooperations. So how can we go ahead and think of cooperation between industry and the diverse other actors with the work with the OECD and other stakeholders that are working already with you, so that we can maybe pilots. Let's think about the answer while I go ahead. I'd like to go to Mike. So Mike, you're coming here, bringing here the business perspective. So we are very interested in understanding what you are doing, and in particular, I'd like to ask you to outline your plans aimed at contributing to energy efficiency reconstruction in Ukraine. It is also now is a huge topic of discussion, and in this framework, how Kingspan Group, how you think to create the essential skills that are required for this to achieve this important goal.
Okay, thank you very much. Very happy to be here on behalf of the Kingspan Group. I'm going to be in charge of this project to build this manufacturing-related campus in Western Ukraine. We're planning this investment to take place over a number of years. It'll be a total of 280 million euros of investment, so it's pretty large. The planning for it is already underway. We've indeed right now there's the weekly project meeting in terms of what we're doing and where we're at. Working very closely with Ukraine Invest, or the agency there, and the Ukraine government in terms of moving the project forward. The Kingspan Group, we make a lot of materials, right, which help with reducing the amount of energy that's used, right, through insulation and other factors. And the idea is that we will produce all of those in Ukraine for both the market there as part of the reconstruction effort, and also for some export back into the EU. A couple of things about the campus, because I think it's very important in terms of setting the scene and setting the agenda for what we want to do there, but what the country needs to do in terms of its reconstruction, right? So our plan is that all of the energy needed to power the factories and run the campus will use renewable energy, solar or wind. And we believe that these solutions can contribute to an overall lower carbon economy in a post-war Ukraine. With 700 people working there, and the output will be a set of value-add products to the economy that will be used, as I said, either locally or exported back into the EU. Very importantly, in the context of the conversation we're having today, the campus, the manufacturing campus, will be a knowledge center for low carbon construction. The need to decarbonize buildings, I wrote an article recently that goes along with this, the need to decarbonize the buildings. The biggest impact comes from reducing the energy demand of those buildings. And we manufacture a full spectrum of insulation solutions, and also what we call district heating solutions that basically allow for full decarbonization of the delivered energy to flats and houses and so on. And we really and truly believe that by doing that in Ukraine, it can dramatically help both in terms of what we're doing, but also as an exemplar for what the rest of the country can actually do in terms of what's possible from a low carbon energy efficient perspective. I think in relation to the second part of your question about skills and what we want to do, which is relevant to this discussion, we will have this knowledge center for low carbon construction. So we are going to put some investment in terms of a customer experience center, which will incorporate fairly significant both hands-on as well as classroom type training. And the classroom training, if you like, will focus on the technical training for employees, contractors, for building workers, and we'll do some work in a post-war environment with the military, because there'll be a lot of people coming back that will need additional training. And the focus of that would be really around how do we make the new Ukraine from a reconstruction point of view much more energy efficient than what has been there today. We all know as well that no matter how good the products that we or any of our competitors make, if the installation of those products is not done right by properly organized, trained, skilled people, then you're not going to get the benefits of the energy saving that would be should be there. One of the specific investments in the campus will be around manufacturing this district heating system. Those type of systems will be needed at scale. They've been severely damaged last winter and risk of this coming winter, but they're an essential system to decarbonize heating, as I mentioned. And therefore, again, there's a basic knowledge there. What we want to do is elevate that through investment in skills, that in terms of training programs for our employees, but really in terms of the implementation of the products across the reconstruction sector. And we do that today in many countries, right? But Ukraine will have a particular pressing need for it. And as I said in summary, the emphasis will be on developing a set of skills to design and implement lower carbon, energy efficient solutions. We're also, I should say, working in terms of how do we automate and robotize, some installations of building materials, because that has to come as well. We heard earlier on today in relation to, the potential shortage that's either here or looming around the corner in relation to just resource, particularly of that labour that has built buildings traditionally. So that's what we are doing, and that's the plan we're engaged in.
Thank you very much, Mike. Very, very exciting project. I'd like to, I think, makes me think brings my thoughts to two things. First one, I think we have to imagine and see how connect with this kind of initiative. And I'm looking at Jakub because I think simply translating or making available some of the material training content that we are thinking of developing in the framework of what could be a future academy for energy efficiency skills in Ukraine could be like a contribution to this project. And the second thought is, Herbert, I think this is one of those bottom-up initiatives where that are needed to fill the gap. So I think this is really the commitment of the private sector to engage and address this big challenge. So maybe we can have after some reflections on this. I'd like to go on and close this first round with you, Jakub. So my question is, could you please share with us these two success stories of the Automotive Skills Alliance and the European Battery Academy? This is what I know because we've been working closely, and I think for us important. What are the aspects of this success, and what do you believe that should be replicated for energy efficiency, and what lessons should be learned to anticipate bottlenecks, barriers, issues, problems? So I think you have a lot to share. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Luigi, and thank you for having me here because it's a great honor to be in this panel, and it was very, very nice to listen to my colleagues, and a lot was mentioned basically, and it's of course always very good to be the last because I can also on the other hand I have scratched a lot from that what I wanted to say, because on the one hand of course we are having a challenge, and challenge is transversal because of course I will go to that what we are doing in automotive, what we are doing in the battery world. But this is not just one sector, and this is not just automotive, this is not just battery, this is not just energy efficiency, but it's a challenge for basically society as such, because this green digital transition, of course, there was always some kind of transition, but maybe colleagues can confirm that, but it was not so fast as it is now. And that's the biggest challenge, how fast it is, and how our system, and maybe it's a tough work, is not able to react on that, and we need to very quickly adapt to this fast change. And it also comes and allow me, if I have a bit of time, to also say my basically personal also view on that, because I got a PhD from computer science, from software. And I always like to say it because for me, it's something also that I was always used to, when I learn something, I know some programming language, or when I learn something, yeah, there is some technology, we can use it to control, I don't know, heater, we can use it to control anything else. It's after 2-3 years, it's old already, and you need to learn the new things, you need to learn the new skills, you need to learn to implement new things. So for me, naturally, I am always used to learn the new things. But of course, that's something that we need to, and it was mentioned by a colleague here, that it's basically what we need to make the awareness in society for that, because it's not a linear skill, and you will not basically leave the initial education system, and you will not be able to be in your job for many years till your retirement. You will need to upskill, reskill. You will need to, of course, be able to get into the new job positions. And then, of course, we have individual learning accounts, and that might help to that. On the other hand, we need to have really the support from all the actors there. It's industry, but we cannot put it just on the industry. It's social partners that needs to help to that, basically to understand the awareness of it. It's, of course, regions that and the member states that needs to support those activities, and of course the Commission and European Union as such. And going to your question, if I'm not too long, is of course with all those challenges that are on the one hand technological, and the technological changes, on the other hand societal, as I have said, there is a need for the collaboration. And of course, collaboration, you might ask yourself, yeah, again, the collaboration, it might be empty word already, but you cannot, it might be, yes, I agree, but we have to fill the collaboration with concrete actions of implementation. That's for me very important, because we don't have a time for like empty collaboration, but we have a time for collaboration filled in with implementation and concrete actions. And that's what I'm very happy for, that we are doing in basically European projects, as supported from the Commission through Erasmus+, for instance. So the Automotive Skills Alliance, of course, haven't raised from one day to other. It's a lot of years that we have collaborated without the projects in the automotive, but also with the support of Erasmus+ and the Blueprint projects there. I was lucky or unlucky that I was the coordinator of the very first Blueprint project in the automotive sector. And it was a 4-year project, 4 million euro for 24 partners to collaborate on that. What kind of skills we need? What is the skills intelligence? Because firstly, you need to know where we are heading to. So what kind of trends? And those trends must be translated to skills and job roles that are affected. New skills, or basically new job roles, or new adapted job roles to the new times. And then on the other hand, of course, always the Blueprint projects do that you have the delivery. So it means training courses. And of course, the educational system is in hands of the member states. That's a fact. And basically, of course, that's the fact. But what I would like to encourage you to is this European collaboration brings a real benefit, because we are receiving great feedback that when we have developed, for instance, training courses on the European level in some kind of automotive pan-European academy, it's integrated in the secondary educational system, in the tertiary educational system, of course, on which level it is, to the initial education, to the continuous education. So really, we receive a great feedback from member states. We receive great feedback from also regional lifelong learning providers or educational system. Yeah? So that makes sense to have this European collaboration. And to cut it short, of course, on those collaborations, we have created Automotive Skills Alliance, which is the landscape Act for Skills partnership. We are having more than 110 members now. And I believe that's something that I'm very happy to support, of course, the same in the energy efficiency world, because it's very important, and it's different stakeholders like industry, irrespective of size, and in our automotive, it's from OEMs to suppliers and so on. to education and training providers, again, irrespective of the position, if it's a secondary education level, tertiary education level, or lifelong learning, all they are affected. And by the way, also those, for instance, on a VT level, just they will need to also be included a lot in lifelong learning, which is also another topic. There is a lot of topics that we can discuss. Then you need the social partners, then you need regions. And that's why I'm very happy that this Back 4 Skills collaboration is for that, because it's basically enabling that. And of course, to have this pan-European collaboration, we have a strategic collaboration with, as the Automotive Skills Alliance with EBA Academy, so-called Skills Institute now. And it's a great example of pan-European academy that basically offers concrete training courses, also in collaboration with our another blueprint project that is called Albas, where we have developed battery training courses and described the skills in the battery world. That is coordinated by Shaletia, and there is also included Nordpol as a full partner, and so on. But there is a great example to have a training program and different programs and the learning paths that might be directly included in the member states, into the directly education and training providers, so that they basically speed up this change. Because when you go around, of course, the regions and you speak with them, yeah, that's great, that's needed, but we don't have a time to basically develop new training programs. We don't have a time to develop new materials, and that's why these collaborations are very, very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jakub. Very interesting. Egbert, would you like to comment a bit on what has been said before I go back to Raffaele for ideas or potential?
Yeah, just on what Mike said. First of all, I mean, compliments that you do it in such a. I don't think anybody can estimate if you have not been there. In the current context, how difficult it is to have a project which is an implicit duration of decades, and now get cuts and invest at this point in time, and also be active part of rebuilding Ukraine. I think that's much appreciated. I think what we see is the concept of time, as been mentioned by many. Basically, everybody's bound by time, and time is running out fast. So the more you can simply get for free, or easily available open source data at the European level, spin-off from research. Now we will see is the big investments in defense, for example, and space technology, and we need to talk about energy saving, and probably sectors are potentially super interesting. I think it would be interesting, at least at the European level, to have open source as much as possible stages. I guess there was in a meeting where we shared research of research between machine learning and artificial intelligence. This virtual way of engaging with learners, and will be so important not to substitute, but to individualize training through virtual reality, nice class. People get the possibility to open doors literally, which are not possible to open now because it will take too much time to get to installations. But with this virtual reality, the possibilities to get hands-on training, to be trained in situations which would be privileged in the past, and use this, but not make it too difficult for SMEs and companies to make use of it, because everything is there and will be there, but people working in this are so busy that they cannot get their hands on it. So we miss the opportunity because of this concept of time. And then the other thing is, of course, the subsidies and financial investments. We all know the history about using solar panels. Many member states have financed this. Now we see lots of people using solar panels without grids, and they will do. So they all have kind of investments, think them through, and it's easy for that. We need this interaction with the business world at the early time. Because one of the things is also that we have little time to waste in digitally. So there is this kind of meetings which we have now on the spin-off of these meetings and the concept of ecosystems. And we're talking about where you bring people together. Not, I mean, in Europe with 27 member states, we've gotten so used to replicate errors in past and now, and we have no time. We have to learn from each other's errors and do something. Sorry for being a little bit more dreamy. With the crowd we have here, the people we have had, the investment you have done in energy saving, I think we are there for some part, but the evolution so fast and faster. So let's be part of this.
Well, thank you. No, thank you very much. I think this concept of a partnership, of collaboration is getting, it's a bit the keyword. This is becoming the keyword in this session. So I want to go back to you, Raphael, just elaborate a bit more on that, on the first part of your intervention.
The point of collaboration for us is fundamental. It's my daily job now. And when I joined the OECD several years ago, there was it was common to have meetings with representatives from ministers, and from public sector, sectorial public sector, and these people had a paradigm in mind. There was the US were providing a standard, and the OECD was more or less simplifying, but was pushing countries to emulate the paradigm. After the crisis of 2007, 8, 11, depends on which country you are, but I think that this proved that there was not more paradigm in the system. At a certain point, the machine of the OECD started to work differently, probably less efficiently, if you want, because people gathering, representative from ministries there, were not having the response on that. So the point is this: that there is a need of creating a new policy arena that are not only based or centered on men with representing ministry as a policy sector, etc. There is a need for involving networks like yours, ideas and different perspectives, also to help experimenting policy solutions that go in the direction of being usable, because that's an important also part. So ECOL was created to generate this policy arena in which we can connect to different networks. Of course, I mean, lobbying is now it's different, but is another policy. What I'm saying is that because there is no more one size fits all solutions, then it is important that we cooperate to understand what are the holistic approach to different solutions.
Thank you very much, Raffaele. I'd like to see now if there is any maybe question from the room. Monica?
No, perché ho messo vicino a casa.
Yeah, one question. I hope it's not inappropriate for Jakub. As you know, we are working on scale and on energy efficiency. And I would like to know, since there is a factor skills on automotive, if you have any experience with them, and yes, if you can tell us something about it. I had in different occasions the possibility to have conversations with the trade unions more than a little bit also with above all people working in companies of components for cars, which are the ones who are very worried. I come from city corporation, which is really one of the key places in Italy for manufacturing, for construction, and for components of everything, but mostly of cars. So I just wanted to know if you have any kind of useful experience to share that would be useful also in the pursuit of our work on the energy efficiency scheme.
Yeah, thank you. If I may, Director, reply. This is that one. Yeah. I have a lot of experience because I'm the president of the Automotive Skills Alliance, coordinator of the Pact for Skills Partnership.
That's right.
So that's a very good question. And of course, experiences. I'm always saying that we do not have something that might be directly copied, but what might be the key aspects are that, of course, we are, and we were always in our projects, in our Pact for Skills Partnership, we are industry-led. So what are the needs from the industry? So basically what industry needs. So that's a close collaboration with industry from the big players to the smallest SMEs and so on. So from the whole value chain. So it was always our key point to have that. Then with that you know where it is heading to, you need to have the collaboration with the education and training providers. Again, not just universities, but VT schools and others. Yeah. And what really helped us is basically that. And this is something that in energy efficiency, I believe that there is a great, of course, possibility to do the same. I believe you are, of course, directly in touch with companies. We see companies here in the room also, and you have basically all that that's needed, yeah, from my perspective. And then there is, of course, a lot of other things to be shared. For instance, very quickly, what helped us, and that's for sure. It helped us, the European project, and basically to kick it off, it really helped to have a blueprint project. It really helped to have other supporting projects as forward-looking projects from Erasmus+. So if we would like to see what was, of course, the help for that, I can say also money, funds, Erasmus+, that helped that. Yeah. So I hope, of course, also something will support to kick it off in energy efficiency system. But of course, on the other hand, it's not just European funding. It's the way to find then this collaboration sustainable. And as it shows that you have a European funding, you have public funding, and it kicks off also and supposed to kick off, if you know this picture from the Pact for Skills, the private funding, yeah, because there is a lot and it's much bigger than our project. But to really put it together, I must say that it also helped us have industry on board and have support basically from the Commission, also through the money and basically project.
Thank you very much, Jakub. I think there is also one dimension that is interesting, which is the regional one. Mm-hmm. So there is actually we have started as European Alliance of Energy also some very interesting collaboration and platforms for exchange of knowledge and between business and regions, so at regional level, some pilots projects that we started in the past couple of years in Spain and then a lot in Italy. And I think there are opportunities to also bring this bottom-up approach, or the implementation of a pact at regional level, so that we can also go and tap into the resources that are at regional level, European social funds, or in general European cohesion policy funds, resources that are actually there to improve to deliver locally.
Definitely, if I may very quickly react, definitely. And also we were, of course, working on this overall European collaboration with also top-down approach and bottom-up approach, also many years before those projects and the Pact for Skills came. And we were just happy that, of course, this was realized and put the bigger visibility. And the regional pillar is very, very important, because at the end of the day, that's where the change is happening, and that's where you can implement it. And that's why we are also happy to have here with me in the room, leader of our regional working group, Michaela, over there. So we can, after that, you can speak more about that, how we collaborate with our regions and what we do with that. Yeah, definitely.
very much. Okay, I think I'd like to move towards the end of this session. It was really intellectually very interesting, very nice discussion. Maybe very, very short last round of comments. Mike, maybe we can start from you.
Yeah, I think it's been very interesting listening to the points and topics. And I think in our particular case, we need to be able to engage with the ecosystem around, education, both formal and informal, training, both systematic and maybe a little bit more unstructured, right? I think we need to do that. Obviously, we do it in Ukraine, we're doing it elsewhere, but across the construction sector, it's just becoming more and more pressing because we're at the cutting edge of the way to save energy in buildings, effectively.
Thank you very much, Mike.
And I should say, like, just on the Ukraine project, we're absolutely enthused, despite the challenges, of making it happen. Hopefully the end of next year, and it'll take 5 to 7 years thereafter to make it happen. But absolutely enthused.
Hopefully before.
Raffaele, short final comment.
Thank you. We just need help. We need help to accomplish what we are doing. That is the experimentation about new approaches for skills, for skills bundles instead of skills, for new alliances. So I'm learning. So I was very here with you, and we would appreciate the possibility to cooperate with you in the future.
Thank you, Raffaele. I think we will develop knowledge now and the understanding of this, and that I'm sure that there will be very interesting development in the near future. Jakub.
Yeah, something maybe to take away from my side. We are not in silos. Although we are having 14 industrial ecosystems. Of course, it has its specific approach and the partnership. I'm very happy to see and to be here also in energy efficiency and to work closely with you, because we are not in silos, and there are transversal topics and challenges and opportunities that we need to work on together. And I'm always happy to welcome other large-scale partnerships, other partnerships on the regional level. Although it's not from automotive, we collaborate with chemical sector, with energy efficiency and all of that, because at the end of the day, it's the overall change of the system, as I have said. And I'm having by purpose this notebook here, just to show it's a European Year of Skills, making skills count. It's not just a year of skills outright, super happy and supported. It's not even a decade of skills. It's really a change of the mindset. It's, as it was said in the previous panel discussion, was said how to make sexy energy efficiency or fall in love with energy efficiency. It's about falling in love with skills and all the skills development.
Thank you very much, Jakub. I wish the president of the commission said the decade, because the year is too short. I think we need time to
lifelong.
we need probably a couple of decades. So
this came out here in what you mentioned, but we're standing behind this event that the industry, the science industry you mentioned. I mean, for me, be ambitious, and Europe is the most ambitious continent in the area of energy saving. Be ambitious. Be dreaming also. I mean, realism is important, but it should not be too pessimistic. We need to be ambitious, and Europe needs to lead on this energy transition, because it will probably not only climate and people, but also business. I think. And then be also concrete. I mean, all these meetings that we have, also these have concrete skills, but also skills partnership for offshore and onshore renewables, so we make together lots of people that know better than we. We can help you designing policies. We can help you looking at budgets that may be available, but need by talking to industry participants and people that we know. Because every year we boost with an ambition we have by 2050, 2045, so every year is not too much. So we have with use all the information we have here and in all the partnerships.
And online also. So we started this morning on a very good track. So we started early. So I can be tempted to continue longer and keep you in the room much longer, try to challenge back what Monica started this morning. So I promise you these conclusions will be short. So that's my promise. So overall, we started this day and we have been shedding light throughout the day on one main message, is that energy efficiency is full of promises for Europe, full stop. We are entering in a new world for energy efficiency. Whilst energy efficiency was primarily looked in the past, possibly from a static perspective, with energy efficiency, you save energy, full stop. We're very much entering into a new world with energy efficiency. And energy efficiency is becoming the bedrock for Europe's competitiveness. And contrary to what a former panelist said, that energy efficiency is quite mainstreamed throughout Europe for the moment, I would say that it yet to be the primary target for investments at European level. So as we're transitioning towards an electrified economy, every kilowatt hour that we save today will bring a substantial benefit back to the entire economy. And energy intensive industries, every type of industry will benefit back from it because the energy will be just cheaper for producing and more affordable, to use another term that was used in this room, for those who produce goods that we're using on a daily basis. So today we talked about unleashing the power of buildings. We've zoomed on the benefits of buildings we've zoomed on the benefits of energy efficiency for the full system. We talked about methodological approach to accounting for energy efficiency at system level. And we finally concluded with this panel and the gentleman here on how to actually look at skills from a completely different perspective and how energy efficiency can actually do its share. So let's remind ourselves that energy efficiency technologies are, as it was said in the very beginning today, actually the technologies are there. They are made available, they are ready. They have demonstrated measured impact that will benefit the entire energy system. So as we transition towards a flexible energy system, the contribution of energy efficiency has never been more critical and will also support the competitiveness of Europe. And that's one of the main messages that comes out from all the panels that we've had today. So today, more than ever, we know, and we're sure of this, of the contribution of energy efficiency for addressing our climate challenge. Fair enough, we know that. But fortunately for us, as well as a community, we also get out of this room reinforced with the fact that energy efficiency is really instrumental for maintaining the competitiveness of Europe. So today, for most of you, you know that that's also an important day. Sentiments in another room this evening will start and try to find a common ground on the energy performance of building directive, EPBD. From my side, I can only truly wish that define those common ground so that we make sure that the EPBD remains a priority for the co-legislators under that mandate. So I do hope that this evening they will find some room to compromise and move further. So with that, I'd like to conclude. I'd like to thank those who moderated the sessions today, also those who contributed to the session. So thank you for those who spoke, who participated actively and made that day possible. So here, and obviously that's important because they often act behind the curtain. We don't see them, but actually made the days like those of today quite possible. So in the order, and I'll pick that step by step, I'd like to thank the EUA's team for making the day possible. Ileana, Esther, Santa, Monica, and Luigi, thank you very much for making this day today. And I wish you all a very nice evening under the first rain in Belgium since month. Thank you.